to give up liberty, but for 200 years we've had both. So I would not repeal it, but I'd certainly put some limits on it so that they don't abuse it the way they've been abusing it.
Do you think that all this adultery on the Republican side is going to impede their efforts?
Not touching that one.
All right. What do you think about this controversy with Walter Reed Hospital? It seems as though if you're standing against the war, people say you don't support the troops. And here the administration that's sending them to war is not taking care of them when they come home horribly wounded.
Yeah, it's a terrible tragedy. And the real problem has been for 6 years when the Veterans Administration or even DOD, Department of Defense, says they need funding, they cut them. So in Iraq, all the money they need. When the soldiers come home, they cut the money and they don't have enough. We have soldiers like in Buffalo who need some kind of real serious orthopedic surgery. They say in 9 months you can get it in Syracuse.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
But meanwhile,
these are the people who sacrificed for us.
Right.
But you say in Iraq all the money they need, they still don't have the body armor that they need, the Humvees and all that.
It is
so
true.
they don't
They've made
even
great strides
But
on
their
it.
budgets go up and up and up in Iraq.
Well, where's the money going?
Well, that's a great question. It's not being spent well, and I think whoever said it before, the biggest issue is competence. They just don't care about the day-to-day details of governing, and whether it's Katrina or the veterans or even how to fight the war in Iraq, they don't think it through. That's the problem.
So here's the question. How could they think it through if a no-bid contract is given to Halliburton?
You bet.
They're given a green light, do what you want. We're not going to challenge you. We're not going to look at you. We're not going to take another bid.
Yep.
We know the vice president was your CEO for many years. Go ahead. Do what you want.
You got it. And guess where Halliburton is moving? Did you hear?
Dubai.
Dubai, yeah.
Yes.
This is the
It's
country
very
that's
interesting.
one of the biggest even you must agree with
Yeah.
this.
I think it's quite
You know,
interesting.
it's the
Believe me.
biggest contractor for our government, and they moved to Dubai. What does that say?
Yes.
In Brooklyn,
You know
we'd
what,
have a
Paige,
term
let me
for
ask you
it.
this,
Do you
though.
want to do it?
Don't know, you don't.
Honestly,
No,
though,
I'm not.
Senator, what is
It's
the
emotion.
plan?
It's emotion. You know, it's
As a person, and there is, you know, this sort of, I just want to know what Democrats are going to do to keep us safe. Like, what's
what
the
about-
plan? You know, I
Okay.
keep hearing
Let's go
what
after
everyone
the
did wrong.
Democrats
I keep
now.
hearing what the
We should be
Republicans did wrong. I
focusing
want to know
on
what they're gonna
terrorism.
do.
The war in Iraq
How?
is not related to terrorism. When Al-Qaeda sets up a camp that might go against us, we should go after it. We should take out that camp. So Afghanistan should actually have more focus and effort. And Iraq, where we're policing a civil war, the Sunnis, the Shiites, they don't like each other. They've hated each other for 400 years. When we leave, they're going to be shooting at each other again. It's not our job. It wasn't what the president stated when he asked people to go into Iraq, to police a civil war. Focus on what could hurt us, terrorism.
But
It'll
don't you
be
believe that
it'll be more effective. It'll cost us less in terms of lives and dollars.
And you don't think that leaving there would leave sort of a place for terrorists to then take over
you know,
and
we're pretty
and
united as
plan for
Democrats
another
here,
attack?
and this is, the book talks about this. If we'd focus on terrorism, if Al-Qaeda sets up a camp in Iraq, we should have enough troops there to go in, take out that camp, and leave. But not have 160,000 troops all over Iraq trying to get the Sunnis and Shiites to stop shooting at
So
each
is
other.
it just incompetence, or what is it? I mean, you just
I
saying
don't
what they
think
should
they
do.
thought it. I don't. It seems obvious.
Yeah, but
you have. I don't like ideologues. People who are so sure they're right, they don't have to
That's
listen
right.
to anyone else.
Right.
They're on the left. They're on the right.
Absolutely.
And either side screws things up because they don't look at the shades of gray, and the world's a complicated
Okay,
place.
now you voted for the
did.
Iraq war, and so did Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Hillary Clinton
And for the Patriot
refuses
Act.
to say she was wrong.
Right.
What do you think about all that? Are
Well,
you
look, I've
stating
talked to-
publicly you were wrong?
No, what I've said is I believe to fight a war on terror, we need a strong chief executive, and you have to give that chief executive, you know, at the beginning at least, a little bit of leeway, a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But this executive, George Bush, has so messed this up that I don't give him any benefit of the
Not
doubt
anymore.
anymore.
Not anymore.
Exactly. That's what the problem is.
It is wrong to say. It is wrong. I think it's a weak argument to say. I think your argument is strong. I think it hasn't been handled properly. But I think to say that he lied to get us into this war, I think that that's a
You know,
stretch, and that people, those are the people on that
They
fringe
did, you know,
saying that.
this trial with Scooter Libby
Yeah.
does show they manipulated the intelligence.
Yeah,
in other words,
Purposely.
one intelligence officer said yes, the other said no. Instead of presenting both points of view, they just had the yes
Cherry
guy.
picking, they
That's
call
pretty
it.
bad.
Right, but do
That's
you
like
think this
lying, isn't it?
administration purposefully misled the American public into believing that Iraq had something to do with Al-Qaeda?
Or that they had
yes,
weapons
I
of
think
mass
they took
destruction.
only one
Yeah.
side of the evidence and presented it, and that never is good. Again,
See, I
when
think
you're an
I think the
ideologue, you
opposite.
think, I'm right. I don't have to listen to the other side. We had one of the most impressive generals. His name was Shinseki.
Yeah.
He said, you can't win this war without 250,000 or you know, many more troops. Instead of debating with Shinseki whether he was right or wrong, they called him names and fired him.
Yeah. Right.
Whenever you do stuff like that, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter what you pay a price.
You know,
have to, you know, when I hire people on my staff, I don't want people who are going to say, yes, Senator, you're always right. You need people to tell you you're wrong. In this administration, people who disagreed were at the
outed as
very
CIA
least,
agents.
Yeah, but we're still stuck
at the
with
very
them.
least, they were fired, and at worst, they called them names. They sort of kneecapped them.
But Senator, we're still stuck with these people. People will watch us
Well,
every
that's
day.
why I wrote this book, so
I know,
we should
but
change
what
things.
are we supposed to do? What is we have the ability to talk on television. What is the average person supposed to do? We're still stuck with this
Well,
administration.
here's what I would say is we do have a Democratic Senate and House, and that means a little different. This Walter Reed thing, there might have been one article in the newspaper, but if we didn't have control, we had hearings, we brought the veterans there. You heard the stories, it made your heart break. They're messing around with the U.S. attorneys and the Patriot Act. That would have been covered up.
Right.
We're out there, so things are changing.
And
This
you
country doesn't change quickly, but please, I would say
And
to
that
your
should-
folks, don't give up. It's too good a country to give up on, and we
course.
are going to
We
take
don't
it
give
back.
up.
We need to take it back.
Democrats did run on a more centric base,
And
too.
Alberto Gonzales, he needs to be gone,
I
correct?
called for it yesterday.
Yeah,
and,
So did the New York Times.
Yeah,
Do you think that anyone will
They're
call
not
for the
biased.
impeachment of George Bush in Congress?
Probably not, because usually impeachment is when you've committed a crime.
Yeah.
But I
Treason is not a
certainly
crime.
think,
It's not
well,
treason.
It's
It's
not
considered
treason.
treason.
It's not
you know,
treason.
making
Yeah.
He
very
took the
bad
chance.
policy blunders, which the country is paying for, is not treason.
What
I
about
agree with
Scooter? He may turn them all in, and then
I
Cheney.
hope he does.
Cheney
Sing,
will be
Scooter,
out.
sing! Sing, Scooter, sing! You're all getting a copy of the book, Positively American. We'll be right back. Good job, sir.